Yes, hello, you're welcome to Further Together.
Enriching relationships, creating a better future.
Your friends here, Kudzie and Priscilla, we are here back again this week.
Yet on another episode on Further Together. It's always a pleasure being in this atmosphere where we get to share about relationships and marriages, where we are inspired and empowered to go and do more, not just for ourselves, but for our generations to come.
And if you are just joining us for the first time, we are here mainly every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. And if you are returning here, we would like to say thank you so much for seeing that the content that is here is connecting with you and they're coming back. And would encourage you to invite a friend, to invite a family, or share with a friend and family, because there are some who are going to see this as a replay, which is quite important. Mr. Madzigatire, how is hi? It's good to see you.
Good evening.
And as Further Together, we do have a package which we have been talking about here for those who are getting ready to, who are preparing to get married. You know, many times we have sat down with couples in mentorship or in programs where we are doing interventions, and what we have discovered is they prepared for the wedding day. They prepared, and the aunties and the uncles were helping them. Come the day, by the end of the day, they are now into their marriage.
Yeah.
And when you get into the real thing, we discover that many people, they were not prepared. They didn't know. They didn't have a clue. They didn't read enough books. They didn't. That's if they read even an article at all. They didn't have. Some people didn't even go for counseling before they went for their marriage. So the challenges that we have seen, we would say probably more than 60% of the challenges that we have seen in marriages are things that people should have discussed or should have dealt with before they got married. But unfortunately, they got married and they pulled these things with them, and they become a stumbling block in their marriages. Yes, my in-law, Mr. Chena, how are you? It's good to see you. Floretta.
Lalasoa, good to see you. Please let us know where you're connecting from so that we can acknowledge you even more. Thank you so much for joining. And yes, do share this broadcast. You know, it's going to benefit a lot of single people. If you're single, please do share with your other single friends. And one thing about these topics, they relate so much even to us as married people.
Yes.
You know, as we go through this topic tonight, just try and find yourself in this topic. Where can you get the help that you may need for your marriage? It's all about enriching relationships.
So one of the questions that I've been receiving from the people who are getting from the singles is they always ask, how do we know that we are ready for marriage? How do I know that I'm ready for marriage?
Good evening, sis Iris. You're joining from Darchet. Lovely to see you. Nelson Madzigatire from South Africa. Thank you for connecting. Lorraine Chikota, that's South Africa as well. Thank you so much for connecting. And yes, the $1 million question has been, how do I know that I'm ready for marriage? How do I know if my spouse is ready for marriage? But tonight we want to talk to the individual, to talk to me, the person. How do I know that I am ready for marriage? This is a topic that is that many couples, before they get married, you're wondering, what if I'm not ready? You know, what if I get in and then I realize that I wasn't ready? So tonight we're going to discuss some of the signs to check and see, being able to know if you are ready for marriage. Yes, Zimbabwe is represented as well. Thank you so much. So we are moving on quickly. The first thing is what we call the sharing test. And this has been adapted from the book called The Pre-Marriage Course. That's where the tests are found. So we just thought this is so impactful and we have to bring it to you guys. So the first test for you to know, am I ready for marriage, is the sharing test.
Yes.
Are you willing to share the rest of your life with somebody else?
Like I have said before on this channel that, you know, when I got married, later on we were coming from the hospital when we had our first child, Tanaka, and as I was driving, I looked back and I saw Priscilla sitting right at the back with the car seat. And I said to Priscilla, did you realize that the guy who is sitting next to you is gonna be with us for life?
Yeah, yeah.
And these are some of the things that sometimes you don't think about it. You are you have all the butterflies, and you are in a relationship, and you do not know that the person that you are saying yes I do, you are saying that for the rest of your life. And one of my uncles, when he was telling me about marriage, he said, young men, when you are getting married, look for somebody who satisfies you, because she'll be the last person you see before you sleep, and the first person you see when you wake up. So if you don't like her, you wake up in the morning, you look at her, you become angry, and your day is full of, anger. And if you come back in the night before you sleep, you look at her, even in your subconscious mind, when you're sleeping in your dreams, she'll be haunting you, because she's the last person you see before you sleep. And she's the first person you see when you wake up. So life can be ruined if you are going to get married with the idea, without the know-how that we are going to spend the rest of our lives together.
Absolutely. And one thing with us is that before we even got married, I remember you saying to me that the D word is not,
divorce is not an option.
Not an option. We call it the D word. Divorce is not an option in this union. You know, the Bible says that what God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
Man, it means even the two of us,
So are you willing to share the rest of your life with this person? And if the answer is no, if you can genuinely answer no, then it means you're not ready for marriage. But if you answer yes, I am willing to spend the rest of my life with this person, to share my life with them, then you may just be ready for marriage. And you know what? In marriage, we share so many things. We share like literally everything. We share resources, we share responsibility. You know, sometimes people are thinking, how do you manage with 3 children? You know, how do you manage to have time for yourselves when you have children? It's because we share responsibilities. So there's so much to share when it comes to marriage. So ask yourself the sharing test. Am I willing to share the rest of my life with my partner? And if the answer is a no, then you may just not be ready for marriage.
Yes. Point number 2, test number 2. Wow. Us been a long one, all the way from, are you South Africans? But just tell us where you are from. It's good to see you. It has been a long time. I lasted to see her probably almost getting to 15 years now.
Wow.
Yes, Jabu Jamini, nice to be here. It's good to see you. Pastor Julie, I thought you were enjoying your holiday. Hey,
Jeffrey Benson.
Yes, Benson, it's good that you are here. So this session is for people like.
Yes. So the first, if you're just joining us, is the sharing test. Am I willing to share the rest of my life with
this person? They are going to invade your space. So that give me space thing, it doesn't exist.
It's not going to exist. If you cannot share the rest of your life, then you're not ready for marriage. The second one is the character test. So do I regard my partner as being kind?
Yes. And do I regard my partner as being kind? I know that they are good people who they are nice people. And they play this nice game, so they treat you very well. But kindness can also be seen, or is more seen, when he is treating the people whom he doesn't benefit from. So if I'm with Priscilla, when I was with Priscilla, now she should have looked at how I'm treating people who doesn't even respect, whom I'm not wanting to benefit from. Yes, I can treat her good because I want to marry. I can treat her sisters good. I can be kind to the people in her street. But am I kind to a man who's just walking in the street?
Absolutely. And you know what the Bible says, that be ye kind one to another. And it doesn't say just be kind to your spouse or to your partner or the people close to you. So do you regard them as kind, even to other people, to strangers?
To the people in need.
Exactly. Are they kind? Because this is the person that you're going to share the rest of your life with. Do you regard them as kind? And if the answer is no, you may just not be ready to enter into marriage.
yes,
that person.
with that person, because their character, you know, we can hide, we can fake things for a little while, but when the going gets tough, then that character, it will sprout out.
Yes,
So
and I like what you say a lot of the times, that when you hear somebody say that they fell out with all their friends, like from the past, they fell out with everybody.
Yeah, people who doesn't have old friends.
You know, they don't have old friends, and they always tell you that, oh, that my friend, or she was bad, that my friend was rude, my friend was this, and they fell out with almost everybody. That tells us something about that person, about their character, that they are unable to keep friends. And eventually, it's a matter of time. You may just be one of the person that is on the line.
Yes, welcome to the list.
So number one, the sharing test. Number two, the character test. The third one is the strength test. The strength as in power.
Yes.
Strength test. Does our love give me energy and strength?
Yes.
Or does it drain me?
Yes. Is it's toxic? You know, we were talking to two guys who were in a relationship.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, I remember, was saying, you know what? You will talk, and after that, I'll be just wishing, you know, let's cut this conversation, let's dismiss, so that I go home, because I feel drained.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you are going to get married to that person, whereby every time you meet, you know, they drain you, when you get married, it becomes a challenge. You will be drained to death.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that would drain your energy, drain your strength, you're in a relationship and you're constantly exhausted by the conversations, the way he or she puts you down, and is draining your energy, draining you emotionally, physically, then you may just not be ready to get into that marriage.
Yes.
So the strength test, because really, if you're in a relationship, it's supposed to give you strength.
You should be empowered. You should
energy,
be empowered. They mustn't be threatened by your success. They mustn't be threatened by the things that you do. But you know, there are people who should, you know, strengthen you. They should encourage you to go more, to do better.
And if that's not it, then you just may not be ready to get in that. So that is point number 3, the strength test. And the fourth point is the respect test. Do I respect my partner?
Yes.
We this time we're not going into do they respect me?
No, but do I respect Priscilla? Because if I don't respect her, then even the things that she values, I won't value them. When she speaks, it's easier for me to crush her without even considering how valuable the thing that she's saying is. Why? Because I don't respect her. And if I don't respect her, it also means that there are high chances of me not respecting the whole clan, not respecting the whole family. Yeah,
that's true.
Why should I respect your family when I don't respect you?
That's true. That's true. And if you get in a marriage where you don't respect your spouse, that will not last.
Yes.
Because, you know, we love human beings. We love to be respected. You want to be with somebody that respects you. You know, somebody that understands that we are different.
And you want to be in with somebody whom you respect. Because do I respect them? Yes. So I cannot live with somebody whom I do not respect. Of course, it sounds easier said than done, because in most cases we want to live with people whom we do not respect as much, so that when we tell them to jump, you know, we don't feel offended by them jumping. But do I respect her? Do I respect? Do I value the thing that she values?
Absolutely. You know, one thing that I love, when you respect somebody, you understand that, you know, you have different experiences, you have different opinions. So when you're going A and I'm going B, when I have that respect, I don't shoot you and then just be like, that's nonsense. Like, everything you're telling me doesn't make sense. Why? Because I respect you as a person. I respect the partner that I'm with. So if I don't respect you, there shouldn't be a point of me getting married.
There's no reason for union.
Yeah, there's no reason for union. So if you don't respect them, don't consider getting married to that person. So Karuru, you said rewind. So the first point was the sharing test. Do I want to share the rest of my life with that partner? The second thing was the character test. Do I regard my partner as being kind? The third thing was the strength test. Does this love that we share, does it give me strength and energy, or does it drain me? And then the fourth, which is what we're touching on, is the respect test. Do I respect my partner? Do I respect them? And the fifth test that you should check is the habit test. So do I accept my partner as they are, the good and the bad habits?
With their habits.
Do I accept them?
This is a very challenging one.
Yeah.
My timekeeping is right up here. Probably it's 60%.
Not to mention
and Priscilla's timekeeping is 6%. My one is 60%. I haven't reached 100 yet, but at least I'm on 60. And Priscilla, she's not on 0 yet. She's on 6. And yeah, so you know, I'm marking now. So when we got married, I knew that this is one of the challenges.
My habit, yeah.
The habits that she has. It's just the habit of lightness. So it's something that when I said I do, I was saying yes, I do take you. And I do take that habit, and with the understanding that some of the habits, they may change, some may not, some may took more time.
Yeah.
I was listening to Pastor Peter, and he was saying he had a habit of nail biting, which along the way he threw it away, but as time goes on, he just realized that, you know what, boom, it came again subconsciously. You know, the gatekeepers were bypassed. So there are certain habits that you should sit down and, you know, think carefully. Think carefully.
Do I accept?
Do I accept this, my partner's habit? Am I able to live with this the rest of my life? Some of the people whom you're seeing now, and you're saying he golden jubilee for 50 years with that habit, are you able?
This is so true. And this is us, you know, 13 years later.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling. Like, God help me. You know, sometimes I literally pray, like, God help me with timekeeping, because I know how it makes you feel. I know that, you know, you hate lateness. And I try, but it's a habit that I'm still working on. So do you understand that? Do you accept that habit as it is, knowing that your spouse may not change at all? Like, some people literally go to the grave with those habits. And some may change along the way. That is if they want to change. You know, us women, when we enter into marriage, we have this mindset, that ideology that I'm going to change it. Like, you literally go out, you get the person for who he is. I've seen women, you know, get married to a player. You know, the guy cannot do one wife, and you get married to him with the idea that I'm going to change him, you know, or I know how to really rock him in bed. So he's going to change his mentality. Absolutely. The truth is, that person may just be your prayer point for life. You will just be praying. They may not change, because even the Holy Spirit doesn't force change on a person.
If they're not willing to change,
they're not willing to change. Exactly. So the habit test: do I accept the habits, the good and the bad?
Chana Chazirongwa, how are you? Yes, it's good to see you. Rob, Mr. Bayana, how are you? All the way from Australia. It's good to see you. I don't know whether I think it's morning now. Yeah, good morning wherever you are. Elder Audrey says the habit test is seriously a big thing. It will humble you, definitely. We were talking with a newly word. They've been married for 2 years now. They celebrated their second anniversary not so long, and she was talking about the habits of the husband. And many times when when we are dealing with interventions, we always ask, how was this person before you get married? And the wife said to us, he was like that, but I thought he would grow up when he got married, he would change. Unfortunately, because of marriage, he is now thinking that I am all his. So instead of changing, he is even worse. Getting worse. So before we got married, he was better. But now that he is with me, it's like, why should I bother? Already I have you in the cage. You got a ring on the finger, so there is nothing that you can do. Yes. So some of the habits, some of them, it can be so unfortunate that some people might even increase the volume. Level. Yes. The volume will go louder. Yes, they might increase the volume. So be careful of those habits. If you can't stand the habits, then call it off. Yes. Are you willing to accept them habits as they are? The other test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth point is the quarrel test. Are we able to admit our mistakes and apologize and forgive each other? How do you respond when you get in conflict? Because really, in marriage, you step on each other's toes like so many times. I know there are moments when I'm like, I'm really, really mad, you know, like you've stepped on my toes and I'm so angry, you know, I'm annoyed. And unfortunately, we're in the same house, so you can't, it's different from when we were a boy and a girl, you know. Now you're in a relationship and things do not work out and they have annoyed you, you block them. But now we are together. You are coming from the bathroom. You see me early in the morning. I'm pushing myself into the same bathroom, and we are just, you know, we are in each other's space, in the same space. So, are you able to admit your mistakes? You know, we've shared many times of a time when we were dating, and the most hard words for me were, "I'm sorry." I was always right. Like I was literally Mrs. Right. So if Kudzie does wrong, he has to apologize. If I do wrong, for the sake of peace, he had to apologize. So in that season, in our season of dating, I can't remember for how long, I could not admit my mistakes. And thank God that we didn't get married in that moment, because really, you can't live with somebody that is always right. You can't live with somebody that does not admit. And there's a good statement here by Rob Bayana, which says, marriage does not change individuals, but amplifies who they are. So you see me now, I'm loud. You know, marriage didn't change me. It made me, you know, more louder. Yes, I was. When we were going out with Priscilla, I tried to be preserved. I wanted to think that I'm a, you know, a philosopher. So I tried to speak slightly lower. But now you didn't try enough. You know, so I was mentioning how I found it difficult to admit, just to say I am sorry. I found it difficult. But thank God that we, you know, it was a journey that you took me through. You helped me, you worked with me until I was now able to admit my mistakes. And, you know, that was one of the tests that I had to take before I knew that I was ready for marriage. I had to know that, did I pass the quarrel test? Am I willing? Am I ready to admit my mistakes? Can I say sorry when I'm wrong? And are we able to forgive each other? Because the most difficult Mr. or Mrs. to live with is Mr. Right and Mrs. Right. Right, absolutely. You can't live with them in marriage, because if one way or the other, you will, you know, step each other's toes. So they have to be somebody who is ready to sit down with you. You find a point of reference, then from there, whosoever is wrong, let them apologize. And really forgiveness. Forgive each other. It is a big thing. Yes. You know, the scripture we mentioned earlier, be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even for God as Christ's sake has forgiven our sins. So forgiveness is part of the culture in marriage, because you wrong each other daily, you step on each other's toes. Sometimes you feel like, oh, my spouse is not pulling enough. So it's all about forgiveness. So are you able to forgive your spouse?
And are they able to forgive you as well? And if you cannot answer yes to the quarrel test, that may just mean that you are not yet ready. Yes, good evening, Closet. Thank you for joining us and for being with us as always. And the 7th test is the interest test. Do we have interest in common as a foundation for our friendship?
These are those things that we look at as interest. I know there's this, I don't know who told these young guys nonsense. I hear one of the girls, she was sharing all this nonsense of, oh, she likes blue and I like blue. And, you know, those are coincidence. Oh, he was born at the same hospital as mine. So, you know, like we are soulmates. We are soulmates. You don't become, you know, a correct or good couple because you were born at the same hospital and he likes blue and you like blue. Those silly things that you tell each other are just happening because you have butterflies for each other. When things do change, then
the interest
becomes the real thing.
Yes, because really you need somewhere where you can fall back on.
Yes.
You know, we always mention moments where you don't have sex, like you won't have sex every day. We tried. So, we tried to do it in as much. When we got married, we tried to do it every single day. But guess what? There are seasons where whether you like it or not, you're not gonna be having sex.
Nigerians, they say na body dey tire.
Body dey tire. And besides body dey tire, sometimes
the situation will not just allow. One thing between me and Priscilla, we like touring. That's an area of interest. We like touring. So sometimes things are not working out. So we get in and we sit down and we're driving and we are all moving towards the direction of what we all enjoy, because we are now in the groove of what we all enjoy. You see that the tension will kind of
ease down.
Because we are moving in the areas of interest. It's no longer the blue. It's no longer being born in the same hospital now. It's what we are doing. If you do not share the same interest, now when you have a conflict, he will switch on TV and he's watching football because that's what interests him. And that thing, if it is something that annoys you, my God, you will feel like you are going to look for
something and just
a hammer and hammer it in his head. Why? Because you do not have a point where you say this is a point of reference.
And not saying that you won't have different interests,
but there should be somewhere where you are measuring. You know, not all of them. Priscilla, there are certain things that she likes. Some of her interests, yes. But there should be things that will bring you together. Those will become your road and your stuff when hard times
going gets hard.
Because they will definitely come.
Absolutely. So do you share, do you have interests in common? If you don't, and just think that, oh, because we just pray or we go to the same church, that's enough. You need something that you fall back on as a foundation for your friendship. Absolutely. And then the last test for tonight, you know, there's so much more that you can read on, but the last test that we're going to share tonight is the time test. Time test. And it says, have we weathered all the seasons and a variety of situations together? You know, before you get married to somebody, for us, I think we did weather a lot of seasons together. We went through difficult moments. We went through, you know, hard times. We went through even breakups. That's one thing that people don't know. When we were dating, there was a time, you know, we had to say, I don't want you anymore.
Let's call it off. Yes, I'm tired. I'm fed up.
We experienced it all, even before we got married. You know, we experienced moments of conflict, moments where you feel like, I don't think I want this person anymore. So is your relationship going to stand the test of time?
Yes.
You know, is determined by, have you passed the time test?
Yes.
And many people ask, how long should it be before I get married to somebody? When I meet them, it all varies and it all differs. But the question to us is, the time test.
Mhm.
As your relationship stood the test of time.
Yes.
Because for some people, in a short space of time, they go through so much and they're able to overcome them. And for some people, it would take as long as ever
Yes.
to go through trying times.
I know, ladies, you always come with this and say, Mr. Coffee, it was my birthday and he didn't buy me a gift. And we ask, oh, how was your relationship? Say, oh no, this is the first time that we have been. We were in a relationship 4 months, then we got married. So this is the first time. This is my first time to have a birthday celebration when we are in a relationship.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because it did not go that it did not reach that phase, the guy, to him, he doesn't value these things. Now you go to him, he'll tell you, no, you know what? I don't believe in such things. Why? Because it didn't reach that level. That's when you see that summer is good, but it can be very hot. So seasons have to be tested. Yeah, you say, yeah, we like summer, but summers can be they can be heat wave. So how are you going to handle it during the time of heat wave? When it gets cold, how are you going to handle it? When it's raining, how are you going to handle it? So let's know that it's not going to be rosy every day. It's not just, sweep my leg every day. There are certain moments when she's not feeling well, he's not feeling well. He just woke up on the other side of the bed and he's thinking, I'm 27 now and I don't have a house. Most of my friends, they do have properties, and that on its own can start to bother his mind. So are you able to stand? Do you know how to bring each other back into form when he goes out of form?
So can your relationship, have you weathered all the seasons? Can it stand the test of time? And if you feel that, you know what, I don't think I can overcome this season that we are in, it was so difficult for us and I don't think I can cope in such a season again, then it may just not be it may just be a sign that you're not ready for marriage. So what we are giving to you is advice based on the book I Married You by Walter Trobish, where you go through all these tests, you check yourself. Can I answer yes to these questions? And as we mentioned, this list is not exhaustive. So it doesn't mean that, well, I think I'm not going to get married because of A, B, C, D. But these are key and fundamental information for you to be able to check through, see if you tick the list.
Sister Angelina Skosana is touching a value test. We didn't speak about it. The issue of values. Says, I believe no sex before marriage, then your future husband will always trust you as being a faithful person. Being open from start helps a lot. This is value test. What do you value? How do they value women in general? Because if he doesn't respect women in general, chances are, if you are in the house, he can beat you. Why? Because he doesn't value. Does he value life in general? If he doesn't value life in general, chances are he is for those who advocate for abortion. And if you are from the Christian community and you say, no, I don't believe in abortion, does he value that? So that's another thing we were going to come to. It's very crucial. Thank you, Sister Angelina.
Thank you for sharing that. So just recapping of what we have touched on tonight: the sharing test, the character test. Do you tick yes to the sharing test? Do you tick yes to the character test? Do you tick yes to the strength test? Does that relationship give you strength? Or is it toxic? Do you tick yes to the respect test? Yes, I respect my spouse. Do you tick yes? And the habit test? Yes, I accept you, Kudzie, for who you are, with all your good and your bad habits. Do I tick yes?
All of me. All of me. With all the flaws,
your perfect imperfections and all that stuff.
Yes.
Do you tick yes on that? And then the quarrel test, the interest test, and then the last thing we mentioned, the time test.
Does it or have it stood the test of time? You may not tick 10 out of 10, or you may not tick all of them, but the goal or the idea is to be right up on the, you know, higher
Ruby,
level.
you can't ask me to sing. I'm not gifted as you are. You are a good singer, so don't let me spoil the show.
So whilst you're ticking, look at the things that matters most to you. Because if you do not look at those things, they become a problem to you. Like what Mr. Bayada had just said is very true, that marriage doesn't change people. In fact, it amplifies the things that have been hidden in there. And the things that they've been suppressing. I always say, you know, now that I have developed a little bit of a tummy, when I'm being taken pictures, I always suck in the belly. And you can't do that for long. Immediately after the pictures, boom, you know, the t-shirt becomes tight again. And this is that's me in reality. I can fake and suck the belly for 2 minutes, but I can't hold it for the rest of the day. And so the rest of the day is the belly out. It's only the 3 minutes that I suck in. So we have to be very careful that all those cosmetics and you know, the patch up, they do not last for long.
And now, just adding on what you've said right now, you know, sometimes we suck in the bellies for the outside world, you know, but the person that sees the real you,
yes, so when you get inside, then the reality starts. So
and at some point, you know what, the husband can be like, listen, why is it the whole world is they are the ones to see
you. Yes,
the best of you.
Person.
You know, when we get inside, wigs off, everything off, and sometimes the teeth that come off.
Yes, so
and then they see, so they are the ones that see the real.
Yeah, so you are the one who is going to live with the real person. So know the real person, love the real person. If you are going to church, when you are inside, the moment you shut the door, yes, I know he's a pastor, he's a man of God, but he becomes Kudzie and she becomes Priscilla. So that brother so and so, sister so and so, the respect that he does, or those I greet you all in the name of Jesus, glory, it changes.
Yes, my sister says after 9 p.m. at night, we ladies go back to factory settings, no makeup, no wig, no nothing, you know, and they get to see the real thing. And this is the same with marriage. Whatever that you may try and portray to be outside, when you come in closed doors, you get to know who they really are.
Yeah.
So these tests, make sure you just walk through them and see if those boxes are ticked. So we're going to give you homework. If you are dating at the moment, I want you to not only look at your spouse, because it is easy to look at your partner.
More for you as well.
Yes. And say, well, do they tick the sharing test? Do they tick this? I want you to be real with yourself. Do I tick the boxes? Do I respect the person? Am I willing to respect them? Am I ticking the sharing box, the character test? So look at it from your own perspective, not looking at your spouse.
Yes. Thank you very much. What more shall we say apart from saying thank you for joining us tonight? Time permitting, God willing, we'll meet again next week. For me and my beautiful wife, we are signing out till we meet again.
Yes, guys, thank you so much, especially for engaging with us tonight. It was really fun. We'll see you again next week.
Would appreciate if you can share with friends and family so that they will benefit from the replay. God bless you till we meet again.
Love you all.